Now, as part of the 5 components of a one call close, the most important, the part that we have to concentrate on the most, is the stakes. Getting to the point where we identify, we then establish, and then for the remainder of the call, you're going to do nothing besides raise the stakes. And that is crucial to not being simply transactional. Anybody can just give a price. Anybody can be a talking brochure and give them all the bells and whistles of the product itself, what the writer does, how the product. They don't care. What they care about is the person they were thinking of when they filled out the form. That's the only reason we do this. So what happens? We just come off of talking. We're into the next part of the script. Should say on your scripting, it'll say establish the stakes. Most importantly, I'm going to quote Chris Ball here. The stakes have a name. You always, 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 always have to get a name here. It is crucial, and then you can evoke the emotion necessary. So we start off just having a conversation. Remember, this is just talking. We're not trying to be fancy, dancy, making sure we have all the slick words. We're just having a conversation with Mary. So, Mary, who is it that we are looking to protect today? Now, if you just leave that there and just say that, they're not going to know what that means. So you want to continue to have a conversation. So, Mary, who are we looking to protect today? Meaning, if you pass away the way we all want to, which is in our sleep, go to sleep, wake up with Jesus, go to sleep, wake up in heaven, go to sleep, whatever it is that they want to believe. You're not on the planet. All we're trying to do is put them into the mode of they aren't here so they can start the process of thinking about that person. You are going to work, if you did your empathy statement right at the beginning, you're going to work on their heartstrings now. Okay? So I'll try and start to finish here. So, Mary, who is it that we're looking to protect today? Meaning, if you die the way we all want to, which is, in our sleep, who's the person that is going to be taking care of your affairs in the morning? It has to pay your bills, take care of your burial, everything that's associated with your estate in the morning. Who is that person for you? Oh, that's going to be my daughter. Great. What's your daughter's name? Again, conversational. Don't make it sound like a drill sergeant, like, rattling off there. So what's your daughter's name? Betty. Okay. Now, how local is Betty to you? All we're starting here, guys, is just a simple little conversation just to start moving us towards the heartstrings. I want to find out all we can now about little Betty. How old she is, where she lives, how long she's been around, what's making her choose her over, we're going to find out if she has other children, why she's picking that one, if she's a grandchild, whatever the case is. We want to find out all these things, and there's a way of doing that, which we're going to get to here in a second. But we've got to start with getting the name and then get what the relationship is, why they're choosing that person, without using the words why. Obviously, we're not going to do that. So how local? Like, is she like really close by to you? How local is Betty to you? Oh, she lives right behind me, or she lives in the same neighborhood, or the same state, or same everything else. Okay, that's good. Just want to make sure we don't have to allow for, or maybe you do. We have to allow for, some quick travel. So we got to have some extra money, allowed for that. She got to take some time off from work, those type of things. So, have you had a conversation? How many conversations have you had about your final wishes? You want to get that kind of conversation. Well, I haven't talked to her at all. Yeah, I know. It's not one of those things we talk about over Sunday dinner. So if you can start a little conversation there, great. If not, don't force it. Just keep moving on. We want to get a story at this point, but this is just kind of priming the pump. So, all right. So, Mary, help me understand your situation completely. Just bring me up to speed with where you are so we can go fast here. And tell me what would happen to little Betty if tonight you were to actually leave the planet. I mean, we know emotionally, she's going to be a wreck because she's losing her mom, she's losing her grandma, whatever the relationship is there. We know they're going to emotionally be a wreck. But financially, what's it look like for little Betty in the morning? Financially, you want to make sure you're stressing that part of it. You've got the name of the person. You've got the fact that they're close by. Now, what's it look like for them? And we're going to use this opportunity to do what most people call a discovery. We're going to do it through just plain and simple conversations. Really, really simple. On your scripting, you're going to see a couple words there. So as soon as I say financially, what would it look like for little Johnny, Betty, Johnny, tomorrow? And I zip it, I let them speak. And then we're going to do a process which is called mirroring and labeling. Mirroring simply means you repeat back the last 2-3 words that they said at the end of their sentence. And you just put a little uptick at the end of it, and it infers a question at that point. Sounds like, seems like is the next phrase you're going to use. That's called labeling. Sounds like he'd be up a creek type of thing. You're going to get into that. Some of us do it naturally, you don't even realize it. Those are the only two things you're going to do from this point on just to keep the conversation going. It is vitally important that you do not move from here. My rule of thumb is typically, unless you spend 5 minutes here, you aren't going to get an app. There's no way, because there's not enough emotional tie there. So financially, what would it look like for little Johnny? I'll just go back to little Johnny here because that's how I normally do with role playing. What would it look like for little Johnny in the morning? Oh, it'd be rough. It'd be rough. Yeah, because he's in between jobs right now, and I just don't know what he would do and how that would work for him, and I got to help him out with bills. Right now I give him money at the end of the month. Oh, you're giving him money to help pay his bills now? Yeah. I mean, I don't. He's a mechanic. He's always working on cars and all that stuff, but he's in between stuff right now. His girlfriend's pregnant, and so they would be in a very, 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 it'd be a rough spot for them. Ooh, a rough spot. Sounds like financially he's not in a good position right now. See how I'm just going back and forth here? That's going to continue to go and go and go. Now, when they start going into these things, and we start talking about little Johnny and all this stuff, and he's a train wreck. Curiosity question comes up without saying it as a curiosity question. So Betty, tell me, how is always what we use. We use how questions. People have to answer those questions with stories. So how did you come to pick Johnny? Is Johnny your only child? Oh no, I've got 3 other children. Interesting. So out of the 4 that you have, how did you come to pick Johnny as the person that's going to be taking care of your final affairs? That's a nice way of saying, why are we talking about Johnny? Now, we can't use why questions because they are accusatory. When you ask somebody, why are you doing that? Why is this important to you? Why is this? We go back to 2-3 years old when your dad came around the corner. Tony, why are you doing that? My hands go up. I don't know. You're in school. The teacher goes, why are you doing that? Hands go up. I don't know. You got to defend yourself. Your boss walks in when you guys had jobs and goes, why are you doing these things? Or why haven't you done this? Or why haven't you done this? Every time somebody asks you a why, you are defending the position. Always. We don't want to put our clients in that position. So you're not going to ask her why or ask him why they chose Johnny as their beneficiary, because then they feel like they have to defend that position. And now it becomes an interrogation. So it's a how question. How did you come to pick him over the other 3? Oh, well, they're out of state. They don't see me anymore. They never talk. He's here. Da, 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 da. You'll get stories that will teach you the heartstrings that need to be here. Nobody wants another bill. What you're fixing to do with these people is spend an hour on the phone, and at the end of that time, they're going to have a new bill every single month. People that are broke at the end of the month now, all of a sudden, they're going to have an extra $80, $90, $100. They're not going to do that unless they want, not need, want to spend the money on something that's important to them. So that's where we're going to sit here and do a whole lot of repeating back. Sounds like, seems like, sounds like, seems like, okay. But once you have enough information to then give the affirmation, say, okay, well, seems like little Johnny is really important to you. And leaving him with, a lot of extra debt when you pass away is not something you really want to do. You stop there. Now you can say, is not something you want to do, and leave it as a question. But either way, whether you ask it as a question or just make it as a statement, you stop and pause. And they're going to say, that's right. There's no way I want to leave this on him. That's why we got to get something in place today. Well, Mary, you rest assured, I am going to do everything in my power to help you and little Johnny get this taken care of today, so you have one less thing to worry about. And here's how it works. Now we are collaborating. It's me and them versus the insurance company, which is exactly where you want to be.